Subscribe.
We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
I'm just
But of
saying,
course,
you gotta remind people.
Subscribe right now.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
There was a new Top Golf in, I believe it was like Arkansas, and first night, some guy falls into the net. This like really big,
giant
overweight
fat
guy.
person.
And someone tweets out, "Lord help those nets."
I saw one that said, "Imagine dying like this, like a bug on your back, no way to turn over, just absolutely distraught." I saved that video. We have to post that. That shit was. I was in tears laughing at how fucking funny that was.
This is completely random and totally separate to all this because you bring up bugs, and I don't know why it popped into my head. But you've seen your fair share of Pixar films.
Of course, I love Pixar.
Right? No. So, you know how there's that one guy who's in every Pixar movie? He's played like Mac the truck and Ham the pig.
Oh yeah.
And the little fucking and the circus guy in A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
So my wife, my future wife, it's so bad. I keep on saying that. So she had never seen the Cars like post scene credit short where it's Mac the truck, that actor, who's watching the Cars versions of those Pixar movies, and he goes, that actor's pretty darn good. And he keeps on seeing the same actor. He goes, wait a minute, what kind of cut rate comedy is this? I showed her that clip, and now, like, if you guys have been watching the show for long enough, and you know, my fiance Kay, she is the like epitome of a Disney fan. She isn't like the really ridiculous hardcore Disney adults who like have the annual pass and go whenever they can. Although she has done a couple like one-day trips to Disney. She's a huge Disney fan. I can never watch Toy Story with her, despite it being my favorite childhood movie, because she knows every single line to the film.
I'm glad we're on the same page about Toy Story.
What? That is the best?
Yes.
I mean, like, I really didn't want to get into this because I know that we're going to be on this for like 25 minutes. Because whenever it's you and me doing a show, it always ends up this way. Your top 5 Pixar films.
No order: Toy Story, Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, okay.
Although those two are in order. Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and just because I'm lacking thinking of one, but I do think it is criminally underrated, A Bug's Life.
Right. So I'm in the firm, and like we'll die on this hill forever my entire life. 1, 2, and 3 are definitively in order: Toy Story, Monsters Inc., and The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, The Incredibles is yeah.
4 and 5 is whatever you want it to be, so long as it isn't Finding Dory or The Good Dinosaur.
Also,
Soul's a good
very
movie.
good.
By the way, another complete digression. Disney and jazz music is so freaking good.
Oh yeah.
When you come to my wedding in 11 months, odds are the cocktail hour is going to be exclusively Disney jazz. Honestly,
down for that. Also, up.
That all right. So here, this is where I'm getting at. Top 3: Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Incredibles. My personal 4 and 5 is then Cars and Up. And I think like 6 through 10, because I cannot give you a definitive 5.
Yeah.
Because 6 through 10 is some order of A Bug's Life, Coco.
I still have to watch Coco.
Amazing movie. A Bug's Life, Coco. What's the movie? Ratatouille, which honestly is 6. And I hate to put a second iteration of a movie in front of a original, but The Incredibles 2 was that good of a movie.
Toy Story 2 as well.
I put a 10. Toy Story 2 was also really good, but I think The Incredibles 2 is a much better story overall. Like, those movies are so good. And I will also die on this hill. I think WALL-E is a horrible movie.
Wow.
I hated WALL-E.
Wow. You know, it's also one of the two like banger new era Pixar movies. We mentioned Soul. Luca is a banger.
Luca's really good.
Santo Mozzarella is a heater of a line.
And now it's funny. The other movie that I've actually never seen and need to see it. I need to watch Onward.
Same.
And I need to watch Encanto. I still haven't done it yet.
Oh, Encanto is a heater.
Oh, by the way, also somewhere in the top 10 that you could very much put in there is Big Hero 6.
That's another one I have to watch.
That movie is absolutely amazing. I am the definition of Baymax. You cry in the first 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it just shoots up. But yeah, Pixar has so many good movies that it's so hard to pick. Bottom 3, though, definitively, is The Good Dinosaur, Cars 2, which is the worst movie of all time, next to the Emoji Movie. If you know, you know. And in my opinion, Finding Dory was not a good movie. But also, like, I was never a Finding Nemo fan to begin with. Mostly because the lanternfish scared me. I was scared of Bruce.
So you're a baby, okay?
All right, you know what? you got to realize you have 3 to 4 years on me. This movie came out when I was like 5.
God damn! I was in 3rd grade. I was fucking like at my desk, shark bait. Hoo-ha-ha.
Oh no! I look like all that's great, but like I still close my eyes when
you know another character that you give off big energy from, the fucking blowfish from Finding Nemo.
And everyone fucking says this, bro.
He is one of your Pixar like doppelgangers. You know how they always say you have 7 doppelgangers in like real life?
All right, so I have Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen. I have this fucking.
Oddly enough, I know one of mine, and I don't know how like the multiverse didn't crash open because he lives literally a town over from me, and we graduated the same year. We have the same last name, and his first name is my middle name. Shout out to my guy Dan Bennett.
That's.
I feel like everyone's got like 7 Pixar doppelgangers too. You have 7 Pixar characters that make up your personality.
Also, I forgot another movie then. Anger from Inside Out.
It's another one I gotta watch.
You need to watch the movie.
You do give off anger.
Like, I'm anger, but like not too heavily anger.
Yeah.
Like when I get angry, like you'll know that I'm angry. Like KO is like, I'll raise my voice and like I'll get mad and I'll get like road rage and shit. And I've openly like screamed at somebody for like being an asshole on the road. But like I'm not even really angry. I'm just like annoyed. When I'm angry, you'll know that I'm angry, but you'll never probably see it in your lifetime unless like something really bad happens.
You also have Russell from Up in you.
When I was in college, I did orientation, and the theme one year was Disney, and my group was Group Pixar, and my specific movie within Pixar was Up, and I was in fact Russell. I wore the sash. I did the whole thing. I really played into my upness on that one.
Yeah, you have that. You have some Mike Wazowski in you as well.
No, I have more Sully.
No, but Mike Wazowski, big wife guy, him and Celia, that's you and Kay.
All right, but like we don't call each other Googly Bear and Schmoopsy Poo. Also, Monsters University is a great follow-up movie.
Agreed, and so is Monsters at Work, a great follow-up show.
The 2 most criminally underrated Disney shows that were created and didn't get enough love: The Muppets Office Show and Monsters at Work.
And best top to round up the top 3, Turner and Hooch.
Never seen it.
It was great, and they took it off of Disney Plus after a season, but shout out to my guy Mike Horowitz, friend of Streamer Season, who came on the show to talk about it, executive producer of the show.
I'm still waiting for Chad Mum to get back to me about Full Swing Season 2. But
yeah, come on, Chad. What are we doing?
We have a lot of call-outs. Number 1 of them today is Chad Mum to come on the pod. All right, let's get into the golf.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast, episode number 140 for the Waste Management Phoenix Open this week, the greatest show on grass. Brought to you in every day. This show brought to you by Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the industry. Founded on Long Island, my and Ben's home, we'll call it a town. Rep by some of the biggest personalities in sports, including Chris Hogan, Kyle Harrison, John Jay, and of course, golf's very own Paige Sporadic. Tomahawk Shades is guaranteed to keep you looking fresh from the first hole to the 18th green and beyond. Head to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app on the App Store, Google Play Store, and browse their selection of blue light glasses, sunglasses, prescription lenses, and be sure to use code USP for 25% off your next order, again, at TomahawkShades.com or the Tomahawk Shades app. Steve McAvoy here joining you for another electric week in the world of golf as we head to, actually, surprisingly enough, not a signature event. It's not this year on the calendar, but plenty of news coming through. Ben is out because the place that he's staying at has a 2-year-old who just had surgery and needs to be sleepy poos. So joining me on
that was
the
a
desk
mad lib. That was a mad lib reading that text. 2-year-old staying at my friend's house, surgery. I was like, what's next?
Talk the guy on Instagram who does the, I'm going to the doctor's office, and it's like random Disney characters on the Instagram reels, like, who's the surgeon? Who's the doctor? You know exactly what I'm talking about. And like the surgeon is like a lamp, and he goes, a fucking lamp. So good.
I think you went mute.
My mic went mute.
R.I.P. that.
It happens all the time, bro. Joining on the desk, making his triumphant return to the show, has been on, was on what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but it felt like a long time since. Kyle Bennett, you can follow him, KBizzle311 on Twitter and the Instagram. Kyle, welcome on in. Welcome back.
What's going on? It's good to be back. Felt fitting that, it just happened that Ben was out this week, and we've got a fun interview in this episode that you and I were both present for. I filmed it, no big deal.
That was real fun.
It feels good to be back to kind of recap that trip as well, and a little bit, and have that interview from the old PXG store in this episode.
Yeah, we'll chat that at the top of next hour once we get around to some of the first news in the golf space. But it's great to have you on. Great to be back. Nice to get to recap some things with you, because I think this episode in particular is going to be really funny because there's a lot of beef and a lot of dumb shit that occurred over the weekend that I think it's just going to feed into an hour and a half of just absolute mayhem. Not to mention, we're recording here on a Monday. It is 11:25 p.m. This is the latest I've ever recorded this podcast. I had a cup of coffee about 20 minutes ago. I won 4 games of Fortnite with Johnny earlier. So we are absolutely rolling. And we start off Pebble Beach this past weekend, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Did not see Larry Fitzgerald win. The cameras did a really good job of keeping Bill Murray's drunk ass out of the public view. And there was a little bit of controversy, if I will say so myself. Ben made a really good point about this last week, how for some reason, every single time they play at Pebble, there's bad weather. There's always a weather delay. It's windy, it's rainy, it's muggy, it's gross. Well, it kind of reared its ugly head once again and led to probably the most controversial moment on the PGA Tour calendar in probably the last year or so, and that's with the fact that we have LIV around. Wyndham Clark goes from 26th to 1st, posts the course record 60, 12 under par, to go from 26th to 1st. Clubhouse lead. My pick, Mark Hubbard, finished T4, and thinking we were going to have golf on Sunday. Heavy rain in the forecast. Sunday gets rained out. Now we're going to go to a Monday finish. Monday morning rolls around, Sunday night rolls around as I'm playing Fortnite again with John. And I get the news, event is canceled. Wyndham Clark wins after 54 holes. He literally had to get dressed and go to the golf course Monday morning to accept this trophy. And like do the photo shoot and everything. It's really funny because like you see him in his all black outfit on Saturday. And then he comes back to the course. He's in gray pants and he's in a pink sweater. Like, what a turn of events. But then you had Twitter going, signature event, limited field, no cut, 54 holes. Sounds a lot like something that we're used to that's backed by a certain group that is really polarizing in the golf space. So, yeah, that's your controversy this week. And I want to highlight Twitter for a couple of things. Number one, that everybody on there is an absolute troll. Number two, that it should honestly be a paid app because it's that funny. And three, I realized that LIV Golf has made just the golf landscape so polarizing. And it almost makes it feel politicized because you have the party of people who are like, the reason why golf sucks is because LIV exists and it's a terrorist organization. Like, no, it's not. Let's relax. Let's breathe. The people behind it may have some flaws, but the PIF has never flown planes into the Twin Towers. The PIF has never killed journalists. That's the state of that part of the country that is not, in fact, the people that are running it. I don't think Yasir Al-Rumayyan has a head count.
I feel like that has not been
talked about enough.
Discussed.
Yeah, exactly, which is why I'm bringing it up now, because I, as somebody who's been trying to grow a brand on social media, decided, you know what, Nuclear Golf put out something about how Rory McIlroy officially went 180, and he was like, guys who were on LIV should come back with no penalty. And I tweeted out, honestly, the more and more he speaks, the sillier he sounds, he should really just shut up. And everybody went off on me. And
why do you hate Rory, Steve?
Yeah, like, I never said I hated Rory. I love Rory McIlroy. He's one of the first people that I watched playing golf that wasn't named Tiger Woods that I actually fell in love with when I was 10 years old. So, first of all, shut your mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. This is me going to go absolutely apeshit.
Get their asses. Let him cook.
I am. Let me cook. But no, we haven't talked about it at all, and it hasn't been talked about enough because I hear the people who are like, "Oh, it's a terrorist organization." Then I hear the people who are like, "LIV's the greatest thing for golf." Then you have the middle ground, like me, who I'm like, "Okay, LIV has done something good. The PGA can learn from it. They're now going to merge." And then you have people who are just absolute trolls. I want to take this moment to officially make my call out. This is the WWE official call out of the Gun in the Hole podcast. So Max Meyerson, who works for ESPN Milwaukee, 620 WTMJ AM and 1017 The Truth. Yes, boy, I'm calling your ass out. Tweets at me. This guy, first of all, his Twitter pictures is four guys boozing and making ugly faces. I tried finding this guy's face. It's impossible to find him, but I know that he uses StreamYard, and I know that he posts his radio show, and he has some dumbass take about how Damian Lillard was a bad pickup for the Bucks. Shut the fuck up.
Let him cook.
Yeah, let him cook. He tweets at me. He goes, "The product is significantly worse," and points to the leaderboard from the Farmers, where of course, if you've been watching the show for long enough, Ben and I both said that it actually was a really good leaderboard that people aren't really appreciating. But he goes, "Oh, it's a boring leaderboard and no one knows about it because you see guys like Matthew Pavon, Nate Lashley, Jake Knapp, Steven Yeager, Bo Hostler, Kevin Yu, Patrick Rogers, Taylor Pendrith, Nikolai Hogard, who was probably the most well-known name from the top 10 that isn't named Xander Schauffele or Ludwig Oberg or Tony Finau." And he goes, "A field that has Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson and Cam Smith is way more entertaining." And my reply back, based on what I said at the Farmers, was no, because now you're looking at it from the lens of you didn't know who Matthew Pavon is. Now he's the third best player on tour in stroke gain approach. He's having a career season. He won an event basically on a whim at a really challenging condition course. He finished top 3 this past week at Pebble Beach. Nikolai Hogard has not gotten enough love yet as a Ryder Cup player for Team Europe. Jake Knapp drives the ball 360 every single week. Nate Lashley's been on tour for 5 years and you haven't heard a peep from him. Steven Yeager has been on tour for 12 years and hasn't done anything until now, except for when he was 23 years old. Kevin Yu is top 10 in every stat on the PGA Tour. And then, of course, you have your grouping of Max Homa, Akshay Bhatia, Hideki Matsuyama, Ludwig Oberg, Xander Schauffele. These are all guys in the top 20. Will Zalatoris. You have the big names, but you need to let the other guys play events and let them grow. This guy obviously is a big NBA guy because he immediately brought up the NBA. Think of it like the NBA, right? Talent comes in every year. Some guys show out, some guys don't. I don't see Scoot Henderson doing dick right now. I haven't heard his name on ESPN at all. Cool, he's averaging 13 points a game. I don't really care. Ludwig Oberg is the 8th ranked player in the world.
Let him
He's
cook.
23 years old. Like, I don't want to hear this shit. Yeah, cool. All right. If, let's say, the Saudis created an NBA league and took away Victor Wembanyama, I don't think people are going to be gnawing at the bit to watch NBA basketball. Or, sorry, gnawing at the bit to not watch NBA basketball. No one's gnawing at the bit to not watch the EPL because they fucking took away, any real European football league like the Serie A, the Ligue 1, the Bundesliga, La Liga. Cool. Cristiano Ronaldo is in Saudi Arabia with Karim Benzema. Lionel Messi is in the
Benzema's on his way back too.
Yeah. People are still watching European sports. Cool. You have 10 players who should be in the top 100 in the world that are playing for LIV Golf. Cameron Smith, Dustin Johnson, Bruce Koepka, Joaquin Niemann, so on and so forth. They're all really good. But there are still 200 fucking players on the PGA Tour that are almost as talented as they are, including Matthew Pavon, who's clearly showing it. So appreciate the skill. Not to mention, too, it's a world game. The NBA is a world game, but how often do you see non-Americans coming to the NBA and showing out? Prior to Luka Doncic, who's the last international guy that was really so amazing? Ricky Rubio?
Embiid.
Fine. All right, Embiid. But again, played in the States.
Jokic.
Like Nikolai Hogard has never played a round of golf in America until he stepped foot here and joined the PGA Tour. It's the same thing as Luka. So he is Luka.
Him and Jokic.
All right, yeah, Jokic. That's cool. But again, just think about the European and Asian products that have come to America who did not play college golf, which means that I'm even getting rid of Ludwig Oberg from this argument. And you still get Nikolai Hogard. You still get guys like Taylor Pendrith. You still get Thomas Detry. Shane Lowry has been here forever, did not play college golf. Emiliano Grillo, Min-Woo Lee, who is a top 15 player, top 25 player in the world, just signed with Lululemon and is probably going to be a top 10 pick casually this week at the Waste Management. There's such a bigger percentage of guys that are coming over in the world of golf because the game is so international. And I get it. The NBA has roster limitations. But for every one Wembanyama, we get 5 in golf.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciate it. When Cameron Smith leaves, a new Australian, Min-Woo Lee, is going to come back and take over. When Sergio Garcia left, a new Spaniard comes in and now takes over. It's the same song and dance. I absolutely hate this argument that the PGA Tour is ruined and because LIV Golf is poaching guys. They're really not. He goes, we no longer see the best of the best. Really? Because this week, despite the fact that Victor Hovland and Xander Schauffele aren't in the field, we're still going to watch Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Max Homa, Sahith Theegala. 25 of the top 35 players in the world are playing in this event. There's new stars in the NBA every single year. Like I just said, what are any of them doing compared to Ludwig Oberg? The guy's played golf for less than a year. He made a Ryder Cup. He won a PGA Tour event. He's a top 20 player in the world. You don't see that very often. It's absolutely ridiculous to me that people are going to make this argument. And it's even worse when you have people who are of this mindset that LIV is a terrorist organization. Like, just shut up. At this point, it's becoming so polarizing and politicized. It almost feels like how we are in America with Democrats and Republicans constantly biting at each other, and no one wants to find a common ground, find a middle ground to just figure shit out. That's my 10 minutes of absolute.
I want to put a cherry on your absolute beautiful soliloquy of a masterpiece that was. What was this guy's name again?
Max Meyerson.
If Max Meyerson is not a coward, he'll come on Get in the Hole and talk this with you.
I would love to debate this because I think the arguments here are just absolute bullshit.
Or vice versa, he should have you on his radio show.
Perfect. Throw me on ESPN.
If he's not a coward, he will do one of the two.
I also equally want to point this out too. LIV Golf is a good product, and people gotta respect that. The production value is great. They now signed Google to do this any shot anywhere, so you can watch any shot at any point. We had a playoff in the literal pitch darkness between Joaquin Niemann and Sergio Garcia, and it had more views than the PGA Tour. Why? Because the PGA Tour didn't play on Sunday, and everyone watched LIV Golf instead. So guess what? When LIV Golf gets the data themselves, it gets views.
And they just hired my guy Christian Crosby. Congrats to my boy. Proud of you, brother.
It's the same fucking shit as when I just kind of lost the example. It's the same idea as people, and again, I go to politics, who said, oh, if so-and-so wins the election, I'm going to Canada. You didn't go to Canada. The PGA Tour isn't on. You're going to turn on LIV because you want to watch golf on a Sunday. Just admit that's your answer. That's all it is.
It's the same thing as like the men's NCAA tournament, and then it really spiked last year, obviously. Like, people watched the women's game because we had a fucking kick-ass matchup as well. But it was like, oh, I don't have basketball to watch. Guess I'm turning this on. And look what you got. You got a way better final than you did in the men's final.
How did women's volleyball become so big in college? It's because people finally turned it on. You can, I understand completely if you don't like the WNBA because it doesn't compare to the NBA because they can't dunk and it isn't that flashy. But skill-wise, they're just as good as the men.
That shit is so entertaining, bro.
It is. I went to a professional women's hockey game. It was electric. I went to a college where women's hockey was on every single weekend, and they would sell tickets to literally families. They'd be free to show up. And there was no hitting in women's college hockey. They allow hitting in this league. There are bigger hits than you see in the NHL. It's amazing. I was literally floored when I saw the kind of hits that these women were taking. Women's sports is really freaking good. All you got to do is turn it on. Mm-hmm. LIV Golf is really fucking good. Just turn it on. Richard Bland might not be the hottest player in the world. But guess what? So is Justin Suh. And Justin Suh can go out any week and win on tour. Christian Bezadenhout's finished top 10 in the last 3 events. He can do it any week. Any given Sunday, someone can win. You can watch the Super Bowl, right? And the game-winning score might not be from Travis Kelce. It might not be from Deebo Samuel. It might not be from George Kittle. It might very well be from Jawan Jennings. You don't know who Jawan Jennings is. It's because he got his shot. And he capitalized on it. And guess what? You watched it. And now you know who he is. And he lives on forever as a legend, as is Malcolm Butler, as is David Tyree, and others like him. That's it.
Shot Nick Foles.
You always got to make it about Philadelphia. So yeah, Max Meyerson, come on the show. Let's talk. Because I can't stand this concept that LIV Golf is terrible, and
that was one of the most brilliant call-outs in company history.
I honestly can't take it. It's so annoying. Because look, I might not even like. I don't love LIV. Like, I think it's like. I think a shotgun start is stupid. I think you need that like tiering of players to like shake the leaderboard out to have the final group. But also like the production value is there. They're getting better commentary. You have the live scoreboard right there with all 25 top players plus the team standings. I think the team concept now, it's the same thing as when they like what LIV is doing, and actually this will be a great conversation for the F1 guys. They're kind of doing that. Like, you don't have an affiliation to a team on LIV because it's brand new. People didn't have an affiliation to an F1 team until they watched Drive to Survive. And then all of a sudden, like when I watched it and I watched Daniel Ricciardo, I immediately was like, oh, F1, I like Red Bulls because I like Daniel Ricciardo. Now, granted, did I like follow my guy? It's kind of like in the NBA. When I was growing up, the Knicks weren't that great. They had David Lee and Al Harrington. It wasn't anything spectacular. I didn't get into basketball until really Melo came over, and I was a huge like Steve Novak fan, just because he was the one white guy popping threes all day long. And up until that point, I was like, oh, like my three favorite hoopers are Chris Paul, who at the time was on the Clippers, Paul George, who was on the Pacers, and Melo. I followed players more than I followed teams. And then, of course, as I got older, I started to get back into basketball and, of course, rooting for my Knicks because they were always the team that I wanted. Now they're actually good.
And I can Knicks, baby.
And I can appreciate it more. Like, there are those are things that happen. F1, I got into Daniel Ricciardo and I got into Red Bulls.
I was gonna bring up like NASCAR. Shout out to Brittany.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't follow like NASCAR teams per se.
You follow racers.
You follow racers.
So like I don't follow the Crushers, but I like Bryson DeChambeau, so I'm gonna support them. Or I love John Rahm. I'm gonna support Legion 13. It's the same thing as when you grow up and you have affiliations that are maybe outside of the realm of your home city. My grandpa grew up watching the Brooklyn Dodgers. If I'm not rooting for the Mets, I'm rooting for the Dodgers. My grandpa then said, fuck the Yankees. I'm not going to watch them once the Dodgers moved out of town. He was 15. So he started to watch the only other team that he can get local radio for, which was the Red Sox. He grew me up on the 04 Red Sox. The first team that I ever watched baseball was in my summer house in Connecticut. I used to watch Nesson and watch Johnny Damon and Kurt Schilling. I sat there glued to the TV, bloody sock against the Yankees. I fucking hated the Yankees. But when I got older in like 05, 06, and I really got into baseball more and more and more, I naturally went to the Mets because they're the only team that I can watch all the time. Granted, some guys deviate from that. I have one friend who's a Dolphins fan because he loved playing Madden and wearing the teal jerseys.
You're friends with Frank the Tank?
Ironically, he is a Mets and Dolphins fan.
You motherfucker holding out on us.
I'm Frank Jr. I'm the skinnier version of him.
Shout out to Tank, man.
Also on the diet grind. Shout out Frank. But like you have those affiliations. Again, I follow Bryson. I follow Rahm. All of a sudden, I'm a fan of those teams. I like Daniel Ricciardo. I'm going to follow whatever team he started on with, which in this case was Red Bulls. And honestly, I got lucky because now they have Max Verstappen.
It's like me with the PLO. Like exactly. I got in year one and it was like, oh, yo, like, we all picked teams. Everybody that was, like, on board was, like, me. It was Alex McIntyre, Brooke Destra, Mikey Ostrowski, and it was like, all right, we're going to pick squads. And the last one left for me, because nobody picked the Redwoods, and I was like, I'm going to rock with them. Like, that's the last team standing. Yeah. I'm going to jump on board with them. I follow along with them, and I swear, even though they're in California now, if they ever win a championship, Nat, I better be on a parade float. And then, obviously, I got close with a bunch of the Chaos guys because they started coming on the pod. Their coach loves us. So I grew a natural affinity to root for them as well. And then we did the first interview with Andy Copeland after he got hired by the Water Dogs in the PLL to be their head coach. So then I was like, okay, cool. I have a relationship with them. They win a championship, and now they're Philadelphia's team. So obviously I'm putting them boys on my back as well.
Yeah. And again, same thing happened to me. I asked you a year ago, I go, hey, I need an affiliation. And immediately, Chaminade alumni Kyle Thornton picked up by the Redwoods. I'm like, all right, I mean, a lot of Long Island names, a lot of guys who I remember in high school.
And you're a Notre Dame guy, and a bunch of guys on the team went to Notre Dame.
Shout out to Cavs. Like, those are that's why I got into the Redwoods. So, like, there you go. Like, you find affiliations. I think people haven't gotten past the fact that LIV's existence is so politicized and so polarizing that they immediately turn off the team aspect. But I guarantee you, when the PGA Tour picks it up in 2 years because they still need to find more private investment and they turn to team-style golf to get big brands on, like I've been saying for years, then you're going to really find out that this is actually a really good idea and it's going to work. That's the kind of thing that makes LIV really good. And people just don't appreciate it. And everyone on Twitter is a fucking troll, and it's disgusting, honestly. This has really become the show about Twitter. And then you know what? I want to digress and go back here to Pebble Beach, and I want to give LIV Golf its flowers because this is also a part of this that I don't really appreciate. First of all, people who are like LIV Golf sympathizers, this is where you're wrong. Yeah, it was 54 holes. Yeah, there was no cut. Yeah, it was a limited field. It was a limited field because those players earned their spots. They were invited to play it. There's no cut because when you only have 70 spots, you really can't have a cut. We didn't do it. We didn't do it with WGCs. We aren't doing it now. And it was 54 holes because of a weather restraint. This was a sanctioned event. LIV Golf, by definition, is an exhibition. You wonder why the OWGR isn't giving them points. You wonder why Wyndham Clark goes from the 10th ranked player to the 6th ranked player, and Joaquin Niemann, who won this week, went from 66th to 74th. It's because LIV Golf played an exhibition in a limited field with 3 rounds and no cut. The PGA Tour played a sanctioned event, a part of a full calendar that happened to get cut short. So you know what? You're also wrong there. It's all about situational. And at the end of the day, the PGA Tour did what they had to do. And there's a reason why Wyndham Clark got his flowers and Joaquin Niemann didn't. And while I appreciate Joaquin Niemann, I think he's an absolutely great player, and probably one of the biggest losses for the PGA Tour that goes unsung. This is just how it is. And Wyndham Clark said it in his interview. I had calls with LIV. I got a $100 million contract. I chose my legacy. I want to be on the PGA Tour. That was his result. So there you go. That's the other whole part of this that I think everyone needs to just like sit down, shut up, and figure it out.
You bringing up OWGR just sparked an insane merch idea in my brain. So obviously, you know Tyler, the creator.
I'm so freaking nervous.
Obviously, Odd Future Wolfgang, kill them all. We need a shirt that's OWGRKTA.
Can we put the OWGR in like the donut font?
That'd be sick.
So it's like donuts. I'm all over that, bro.
OWGRKTA. That'd be fucking sick.
OWGR kill them all.
Yeah.
I would immediately buy that.
Like, that'd be so fire. I'd rock the shit out of that on a crew neck.
Honestly, I dig it. Let's do it. All right.
Bang.
36 minutes in. We're taking a break. On the other side, we'll chat a little PXG, talk waste management this week, get the beer money. And I got a bone to pick with my co-host, Ben, who was an absolute bitch with his picks this week. You're listening to the Get in the Hole podcast. You're listening and watching to the Get in the Hole podcast here on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. The fuck is up? Welcome back to the Get in the Hole podcast. Steve McAvoy, Kyle Bennett, back on it, back on the grind. The fuck is up? It's the most casual, like, hey, hi, how you doing? Oh, I love it. So after this segment, we're gonna have an awesome interview with the folks over at PXG, and talked a little bit about it last week. We'll talk more about it now, being that we were there. It was you, me, and Christian. Great time. I love how PXG has the storefront set up as opposed to like every other place where I can only get Titleist merchandise from the PGA Superstore or some affiliate store, whatever it might be. PXG really does a great job at their layout, at how they make you feel, how they welcome you in, how immediately when you enter in the bays and you just see the wall of club heads and shafts and like styles of their irons and their clubs and their Black Ops line, it's like, wow, this is some real like hardcore stuff. Not to mention also like it makes sense because they're a veteran-based company. Bob Parsons, of course, a Vietnam vet. So like you have that like militant like vibe to it, which almost makes you feel like, oh, this is like actually kind of crazy. But nah, PXG was a great time. Really cool interview with their lead fitter. It's an awesome time, awesome folks. Thank you to our girl Michaela for setting it up. That was a great time. Got to hit a ton of balls. Got to sweat a little bit. We got some content flowing. Hopefully, we can do a lot more PXG in the future. But that was a great time.
And as somebody who currently and has worked in the retail space for many, many years, the staff at the PXG store in Philadelphia, and I am not just saying this because they invited us there and allowed us to shoot content there. They were some of the nicest human beings that I've interacted with in a long time. Just very accommodating, super friendly, very like conversational, and just like regular people, and enjoyed having our company there. I couldn't have been more impressed, like Steve said, with the storefront and the layout of the store. That store is massive and it is gorgeous inside. And like, I'm a very casual golfer, but genuinely, like, if I were to go and like purchase clubs, simply based off of my experience alone from being there shooting content for our company, I would go with PXG just because of how awesome their customer service was.
Not to mention too, like the clubs themselves. I had never used PXG because when I first got my first set, my AP1s here, I had got them pre-owned, and I went to this golf shop called Unique Golf that's out by me, and I was like, oh, like I love the way these PXG irons look, but like that was like the Gen 3. And for those of you who don't know, like PXG only puts out new irons and new clubs when like their technology supersedes the former iteration. It isn't like how the Paradigm superseded the Rogue, superseded the Maverick.
They're not cash grabbing you, which I appreciate a lot.
Which is great, and also it's affordable. When they first came out, they were uber expensive because they were trying to figure out a price point. Are they a luxury golf brand? Are they an affordable golf brand? They were like $900 for the iron. They're still relatively expensive. It's still probably about $100 an iron, but for a 4 through P wedge, it was like $1,005, and I'm like, I can't afford this. But I hit them way back when 4 years ago. I was like, wow, the feel on these are amazing. I hit these, and I was like, wow, these like feel super light. They're really forgiving. The player irons were really good. The forgiveness irons were awesome. I came home 3 days later to play these irons, and these clubs felt so heavy. I shanked my first 5 shots. I'm like, what the hell's wrong here? It must have been because I'm playing such lighter clubs. It was a totally different experience from what I had ever done, and I'd never gotten a fitting in my 15 years of playing golf. So it was certainly a different experience than what I was used to.
And you said that throughout the entire time, like that everything felt so light. And I was like, that's so like interesting.
Clean.
Yeah.
Like, not for nothing, too.
I've never done a fitting either, obviously, and you're way more of an active golfer than I am. And, like, when you're just sitting back and listening to a master fitter, like, talk about that kind of stuff, that never crosses your mind when it comes to golf clubs. And it's like, that makes so much sense that, like, the way that your swing's adjusted by one simple twist of the head or one, switch up to make it more accommodating for you. Yeah. I was like filming you, and I was blown away by just like the technology and the aspects of just like one simple tweak here, and your swing completely changed for the better.
Yeah, and you talk like dispersion, and for those of you who have never gone through a fitting before, like you use multiple different shafts, multiple different grams within a shaft because the weight of the shaft matters. On top of the flex, regular, extra stiff. If you're a senior or a woman, you have your senior and your ladies flexes. But on top of that too, like the head is different, the lie angle is different. You're adjusting loft on your driver. I hit my driver 9 degrees, which is pretty low for what standard is. It also matters on like tee height. Like this is obviously from a different source, but my Golf Spy did a whole thing about tee height, and they measured tee height from a 1/2 inch tee to a 1.5 inch tee. That 1 inch difference from the higher tee off for the driver, you carry the ball 15 yards further. It goes a total of about 15 to 20 yards further as well. So 15 additional carry plus 20 of total over. Your spin goes down by about 400 RPM. Your launch angle goes up by about 4 degrees, and you find about 10 to 12% more fairways from teeing it up from here to there. Golf is such a game of inches. People don't understand that, and that's why like you need to get fitted. And like I'm playing these clubs, I'm playing a regular flex. He goes, oh, like you should be playing more like almost an extra stiff with how fast you swing it. And I'm like, all right, so this explains why my 7-iron only goes like 150, but sometimes it'll also go like 180. it's because the dispersion of where I'm hitting it might be perfect, but I may have too much flex in the club. When I come down, the club looks like this, as opposed to being straight and actually carrying it the right way so it hits consistently every time. So you don't realize how important that is and how important it really is to get fitted. And now I'm like in the situationship of, oh God, I gotta afford a wedding, but also like, do I spend $2,000 on new clubs this summer? I'm having the financial talk with my wife. And she's like, I know you love golf, but like you can't do that. And I'm like, all right, then I'll do it like for one more year, and hopefully Ben buys me new golf clubs for my wedding.
Or this is why we need to keep building our partnership and friendship with PXG.
Of course, yes, and of course, I would love for PXG to deck me out in new clubs. I would not be opposed to
Stephen McAvoy, PXG golfer.
I'll be anybody's brand ambassador.
PXG though, shout out to them.
Oh yeah.
I was genuinely blown away by the entire experience. Like it was so much fun.
It was, and honestly, for only being there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, because that was the most we can get. Just a really great time,
and they won us back, which is cool.
Yeah, which is great, and also
your mic came unplugged.
Of course it does, because what else is fucking new? The storefront head, who I believe was the manager of the shop, also put me on to the Cooper Sharp.
Yeah, dude, we had Angelos. We learned about candles.
When he said Cooper Sharp, I was like,
yeah, the Cooper Sharp on the Angelos cheesesteak, bro.
Accented thing ever.
You thought the accents didn't exist, but then you heard about the Cooper Sharp at Angelos, and it changed your life.
Bomb fucking cheesesteak, I will say.
Dude, Angelos was the best. Shout out to them. No phones, cash only. Shout out to Angelos.
Honestly, bro, that's the sponsor we need, is Angelos.
I can't call them, so. Also, we learned about candles at PXG, which was fascinating.
We did, yes. They have a whole line of fucking candles. It's
that
sick.
That was like some of the coolest, like, fun fact knowledge dropped on our heads.
All right, folks, real quick. It's midnight now on the pod. It is now February 6th. My birthday is right now, and my mom's FaceTiming me. You know, in the most ironic of moments, you are live on a podcast right now.
Hell yeah.
Hello, podcast land. Happens every time that she manages to wind up on this show.
Well, you know, and now it's me and Daryl. Say happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Hi, Daryl.
Birthday.
My two favorite folks. Say hi to Kyle.
Hello.
So you don't know this. So I have a friend from high school, Kyle, who him and my friend Sean. My mom has no idea who they are. They've been over the house multiple times. She has no idea what they look like. I go, Kyle's the tall one, Sean's the short one. I'll be on the call with Sean, and I'm like, Mom, I'm talking to Sean. She goes, oh wait, is that the tall one? And I'm like, no, that's the other one. They came over once for the Giants Jets game, and she turns to Sean and goes, so Kyle, how's your girlfriend?
Yeah, for some reason they were blocked.
So mom, this Kyle is not the Kyle that you don't know.
Different Kyle.
This is the other Kyle who lives in Vineland, New Jersey. Yes.
Yeah.
The Cooper Sharp.
The Cooper Sharp at Angelos.
Angelos, they have no phone. You can't call them.
Yeah. All right, well, listen, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I wanted to be the first one to my firstborn. I love you with all my heart.
Thanks, Mom.
All right. Call me later.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Hell yeah. We love a mom appearance.
All right, we are digressing towards something new. I have the best birthday on earth, as it's now 12:02 on a Tuesday.
Club going up.
I share a birthday with Babe Ruth, Bob Marley, Ronald Reagan, the janitor Arwen from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, Aaron Burr, Axl Rose, former husband to Kim Kardashian, Chris Humphries, and who else? Wait for it. Wait for it. We might get infringed on for this. I share a birthday with Rick fucking Astley.
I'm very happy that for whatever reason it didn't pick up on your mic.
Oh, damn it.
It's good. It's good for the copyright and good for the editing.
Well,
I'll put in a graphic of him.
I share a birthday with Rick Astley, and
I feel obligated to share my birthday celebrity twins.
Please, because honestly, like we were having this discussion. Might I add also, February 5th, so yesterday, has birthdays for like Ronaldo and like a ton of like major like actors. It's like crazy.
I have a pretty good one, October 29th.
Okay.
So I share a birthday with Bob Ross.
Oh, beast.
I share a birthday with Winona Ryder.
It's a good one.
I share a birthday with Gabrielle Union.
Okay.
I share a birthday with Tovlo.
Talking body.
I share a birthday with Randy Jackson.
It's gonna be enough for me, dog.
I share a birthday with Tracy Ellis Ross.
Who is?
The mom from Blackish.
Okay.
I share a birthday. This is a good one. This is good internet lore. Those of you who know social media star Gavin that we all grew up with, and he was our collective internet son. You know him probably from the GIFs. Gavin, yeah, he and I share a birthday. Gavin's my birthday twin.
That's elite. But
good birthday.
But hold on, wait. But hold on. Did you have one of the greatest number one hit singles come out on your birthday?
What's that?
In the Club by 50 Cent came out today in 2003, I think. I was 5 years old. Go, shawty. It's your birthday.
The number one song on my birthday in October of 1993, 29th, 1993, Dream Lover by Mariah Carey.
Not as good as Fantasy.
I'm also pulling up October
The question is though, what was the number one song on the Hot 100 the day you were born?
Yeah, that's the song that was number
Okay.
one.
Mine was like something by I think like Faith Hill.
I'm pulling
Something
up.
really old.
Here we go. The album Basic Channel was released on my birthday by Q 1.1.
Okay. Oh god,
I'm
bro.
sorry. Basic Channel is the group. Q 1.1.
On this day in 2011, the Glee season 2 soundtrack was released. That's a good one.
Shout out to Glee. Damn, the day after my birthday was Snoop Dogg, What's My Name?
That's a good one. Yo, dude. February 6, 2007, Infinity on High, Fallout Boy. Thanks for the memories. Oh, Bop. That's amazing. Trying to see what else we have. What else released on my birthday at some point in time. I still think though that like In the Club is still by far the best song
That's
that
a
ever
good
dropped
one.
on my birthday.
That is a good one.
Basically every single from The Voice in 2012 came out on my birthday. That's fun. Although I hate The Voice.
That's interesting. I think The Voice is the best music show.
I disagree with you, but
I should say the best concept to selecting because you're doing it blind.
are you also a believer in the show Love is Blind then?
Never seen it.
You need to watch it. That's a great show.
What's going on, guys? Stephen McAvoy here for Getting the Hole, joined by Drew Patterson, the lead club fitter here at the PXG store in Philadelphia. Drew, thanks for having me on here. Thanks for trudging through with me and waiting on me through the traffic. It was quite the struggle getting here, but really happy to be here.
Yeah, of course. No, we're glad to have you out. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so I want to get into like PXG as a whole because it's kind of the new guys in the block when you look at the big names in the golf industry, Titleist, Callaway, and then PXG is making their rise. It's been around since the mid 2010s, I believe.
Yeah, so 2014 was the first official year, but it started a little bit before that as well. But yeah, 10 years in now, company's doing awesome and we're growing, so it's really cool.
Yeah, a handful of PGA Tour members, a lot of LPGA players, some on the senior tour as well, of course. Gary Player, probably the biggest name of the group. Personally, and I know KB and I behind the scenes have been talking about this a lot. So Darius Rucker is a PXG ambassador. I know he loves Hootie and the Blowfish. That was a little before my time. I was only born in '98, so I kind of missed the mid '90s run. However, I know him through Wagon Wheel, although it's not even his song. But really cool staffing and group of people who represent PXG. But what's the brand really about? What was the goal behind Bob Parsons in creating a brand like PXG?
Yeah, so Bob Parsons, our owner and founder, he contributes a lot of his success that he had even before PXG to being in the Marines. So we're a company that is revolved a lot around our veterans, active military, police officers, EMT, first responders. So we do a lot with them, but golf was a really big passion of Bob Parsons, and before he started PXG, he was spending a ton of money every year on golf equipment with all the big manufacturers, couldn't find anything that he really loved, and he said, I'm going to start my own company. So Parsons Extreme Golf became a thing. His whole theory with starting PXG was if we have an unlimited budget and we have an unlimited time constraint to build clubs, can we make a golf club that's going to be better than everyone else's? And the answer is obviously yes. So a lot of companies on the market, they have to build their clubs for a certain dollar amount and hit a certain number. They have to release product every couple months. We do things differently. We have an uncapped budget on how much we spend on our materials to create our clubs that's going to be more forgiving, feel better, and perform better. And we also don't do it in a certain time constraint. So we only release clubs when we know for certain it has beaten the previous year's model. So it's pretty neat.
So what makes PXG, aside from that, in terms of the actual club building? I know there's a lot of different ways that you can go about creating your clubs. How does PXG different from the current slate of other brands' equipment?
Yeah, so we do a lot of fitting. Everything here is custom built specific to your swing. So a lot of companies will do custom fitting. The big piece with PXG now that really separates us is our retail locations. And our stores here, no other golf company does it like our stores that we have here, and the experience that you have coming in, seeing the retail side, seeing the apparel, accessories, merchandise, and then coming in and getting fit for custom clubs. It's just a totally different atmosphere than where you would get fit somewhere else.
It's become more of a service side of things rather than just we know that our clubs are the best. You're going to buy it, whatever it is, off the rack. I know most people are buying things nowadays, PGA Superstore, whatever it might be, just because it's the new cool thing on the block. But PXG really takes the extra step to make you feel acclimated and a part of the family almost.
For sure, yeah. The service, the experience, and then the clubs alone, those three are what really separates us. The cool piece is when you come and get custom fit, whoever your fitter might be, that's going to be your PXG guy now for life. So if you need changes to your clubs, if we need to tweak them, you have that guy's cell phone number in your pocket. You can call your guy anytime. It's like having your own personal fitter just for you anytime you need them in your golf game, which is cool.
So walk me through a fitting. How exactly does it work? Ironically, I've been golfing since I was, 11 years old. Never had a fitting in my life. Never thought I ever needed it. My first set of clubs was a pair of, I think it was like Titleist AP1s off the rack, and I've been using them for the last 7 years. What's a fitting like? How do you go through the process? What do you look for in your clients in order to make the best sort of club for them?
Yeah, so we set up a day and time that works for the customer. We pick an appointment time for them. They come in. We encourage everyone to bring their current clubs with them. So we'll go in the fitting bays. We'll have you warm up, hit a couple shots with your current setup, and kind of get a baseline of what you're looking at data-wise with your current set. So we use TrackMan technology. TrackMan's one of the best simulators that is on the market. So we get a baseline for your clubs, and we start making all the tweaks and seeing the differences and where it's going to impact your swing. So between the length of a club, the loft, the lie angle, we can change the weight in the head of the back of our irons. There's all these different pieces that we can combine these that it's going to help make your golf game better, whether it be a little miss left, a little miss right, if you miss heavy or thin. All of those things can be reflected back to what you're playing currently in your current set. So finding the piece that's best for you is what's essential.
What's the part of your fitting that's the most important?
Oh man, most important. I'd really say all of it, but the biggest piece, looking at a bigger picture, I would say shaft and head are going to be extremely important. We have 5 to 6 different iron heads, depending what you're looking at and what you're wanting to get out of your iron. And then between all the different shaft models and different weights, flexes we have, a lot of our shafts are good, but only one of them is going to be great for you. So it's a matter of finding the shaft too.
Now, obviously, everyone's is used to the driver fitting, the iron fitting, but the putter, I think, is one of the most fascinating parts now, particularly with those on tour. Everyone's trying to figure out what's the best way for me to putt, and you see it a myriad of times. Hand changes, weights, balancing, and I think I think Ricky Fowler put like 3 or 4 ounces of lead tape under his putter. How important is a putter fitting, and how underrated is it for someone's overall game? I think people kind of overlook it.
For sure. No, the putter piece of it is one of the coolest pieces that I think we do with our custom fittings. Most people, when they pick out a putter, they pull it out of a bag or a golf shop. They're like, this looks cool. I like how it looks, and it feels nice. We'll go with it, right? But the really cool piece with our putters is we're one of the only companies that can change the hosel type on a putter. So to give you an example here, every putter has a different hosel on the bottom of it. You have a plumber's neck, a double bend, which is this. You have an H neck. They all look different, but they all serve a different purpose depending what your miss is when you putt. So we can switch these hosel types and put them in any putter head that you like the look of to truly fit it for you. So when you pull a putter out of a golf shop, it's going to have a shaft in it and a head. It looks good, and you just go with it, right? So we tweak the shaft. That's going to play a really big piece. And then all of our putters have weights in the bottom as well. So we can make those weights heavier or lighter. That can change speed control for you. That can help you with your stroke, keeping it online more. It's going to change the difference in what it feels like to you. So it's all super, super customizable at a level that no one's really doing yet.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize that. I mean, I've always seen the way that a putter is constructed, but I never thought about the actual the hosel making such a heavy difference. I mean, I've been using my grandpa since 1985. But it's funny, like you pull a putter off the rack, and it's like, oh, you nail 3 putts in the Dick's Sporting Goods, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is mine.
Right.
And everyone wants the nice, pretty thing, the nice new pretty thing that everyone's got. But at the end of the day, you need something that's really working towards you. One other thing, too, the golf ball has gotten really big. Where does PXG fit in the realm of the ball? Where do you compare yours to? What's the benefits of a PXG ball as opposed to everyone else?
Yeah, the PXG golf ball has been getting a lot of traction. It's been really, really good. I used to play Titleist Pro V1s before we came out with our golf ball. Ever since we've launched ours, I've played our golf ball. It's a 3-piece ball, so a lot of the premium golf balls that you'll see on the market, Pro V1s, TP5s from TaylorMade, they're going to be a 3-piece golf ball. So the internal core, right? So we have a 3-piece golf ball as well. It's meant to sit right in between a Pro V1 and a Pro V1X. I've played it. It's been identical for me. The big difference that I've seen that I've really loved is I've, inside 100 yards, feel like I've gotten a little more spin with the golf ball and a little more check around the green. So if I can get the same distance out of my driver and all the other irons and get a little more spin around the green, it's perfect. So
now, PXG, in terms of price point, when it comes to the fitting, the actual golf clubs, let's say I was to get a full bag, what are you typically looking at versus competitors? Is it far more competitive? I know there's a lot of sales that are constantly going on, a lot of models. They're also looking to be more competitive than everyone else. Where does it price out at usually?
Yeah, our price points have been super competitive. If you get a brand new Gen 6 full bag, which is our newest lineup right now, we have what's called full bag promotions that are running. So you can get fit for driver down to putter, 14 golf clubs. You design how many woods you want in the bag, how many irons, what wedges you like. You pick out a putter and get fitted for that. And we also give in there a golf bag, a hat, and a dozen PXG golf balls. So that top of the end lineup right there starts at $34.99 right now. If you priced out the premium set from every other company and put the bag in there as well, it's going to be more than that.
Oh, yeah. Now, the Gen 6 came out actually very recently, right?
Yeah, so Gen 6 was released last year. Gen 6 is still our newest iron product. We just released a few weeks ago now our Black Ops Woods lineup. So Black Ops is our newest release. We came out with it in driver, fairway woods, and hybrids. and Black Ops is literally in another world of its own right now. It has been completely reconstructed from the ground up, totally new material, new pieces, nothing like any of the other woods we've created before, and they've been outstanding. So they're pretty cool. That's the most exciting piece.
Has PXG been working a lot? I know this concept of working with AI a lot to create clubs. Has PXG dabbled in that at all?
We have not yet. I know that's something that Callaway started to do a little bit. The big piece with PXG that separates us specifically with our irons as well is the polymer that we've created in the side of our irons. Most irons, off the rack irons or older irons, if you cut that iron in half, it's going to be just an empty steel head. Our secret sauce is the polymer we create to put in the irons. I always like to use the comparison of imagine putting a bouncy ball inside the head of a club head.
What?
And when you hit our irons, you can truly feel the impact and the fly off the club face, which is pretty neat. But we have two of the top engineers that have been in the golf industry for over 30 years. So without a doubt, I have faith in what they're doing.
A couple more things. What's been the best part of working at PXG? How long have you been around the company? What's been the highs and the lows in terms of being here?
Yeah, I've been with PXG almost 3 years now. I think the really cool piece is the guys that work here. We're all really close with one another. We're all really big, golf nerds. So we get along super well, and whenever we can get away from work, we'll play a lot of golf together and hang outside. So the environment here is awesome in the store, and when you compare our office to a lot of other offices, I mean, this is like heaven. You have a practice putting green in here that we do all our PXG putter fittings in. We have 3 TrackMan bays. We have all the golf merch that you can imagine. So it's a really cool environment in here. The other cool piece I would say is working with a lot of the greengrass head pros from private clubs in the area. So we've started to build a lot of great relationships with the country clubs in the area here. So getting to see a lot of those courses and get PXG in more members' hands has been really fun.
Yeah, honestly, I've been here for 5 minutes, and I think I would never get any work done if I was to be here. I've always loved the golf industry, and I've always loved being able to be a part of it and tell the stories of it. And to be able to come in here, have your own putting green, you can hit on the sims. I could literally sit here for 18 hours trying to make a hole-in-one somewhere.
For sure.
As we clearly have seen with Barstool and Jersey Jerry. I made a joke. I was like, what if we were to do that, have me sleep here for a whole day? I don't think I could do it. Maybe I could do it in less than 2,500 shots. I hope so. But then again, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But in terms of final thing here, with working at PXG and being able to experience this, your personal golf game and being able to work on it yourself, how have you been able to grow with your coworkers, being in an environment where you can constantly play?
Yeah, the really cool piece with obviously loving golf and playing golf all my life is you do so much with custom club fitting, and you learn so much about the technology and equipment side of it. Is you get more and more involved with how you can make these tiny little changes to keep improving your own golf game. So that's the really cool piece with it. Our fitters here are super experienced. They've been fitting for a while, and so it's cool to kind of work with them on helping each other, figuring out all these cool little tweaks that we might not have thought of, and how they can help our own golf games as well. And then we can take that and give it to our customers too. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to need a few tips. I miss right. I sometimes have a really bad pull hook when I don't commit to shots, and my putter, despite being the best of my friend group, I can read them really well. I can never get the shot down right. I don't know what it is, so we'll have to do a little bit of work, and we'll see how I can improve later on today. But this has been a really great segment. Thank you for having us again, and looking forward to doing a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it.
Sweet.
Let's get into the news. As we've been digressing enough, so much content in this show. So much content. We should totally clip the birthday one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Mark that.
It was 52 minutes.
Something like that. Anyway, so the Waste Management this week, they call it the best show, the greenest show on grass, the best show on earth. I wanted to rank this in terms of individualized sporting events within a given sport. So obviously the waste management for golf, or I'm not going to include like the Super Bowl and the Stanley Cup and the World Series, because like that would be like the majors in golf. As an individualized regular season event, where are some of the best places that you want to be, whether it be at an arena for like Red Sox Yankees, or Rangers Islanders, or some big time like Harvard Yale, Notre Dame Georgia, the Waste Management Phoenix Open? Where does this like rank amongst like the microcosm of like major events in sports that just are a vibe?
This is a good one, like a great like discussion topic. And as someone who is very casual with watching and playing golf, waste management's like a bucket list
Everyone knows
event to attend, hands down.
And like everyone knows it, not only because of the 16th hole and the stadium hole and the party that goes on in it, but also just like the casual overall drunkenness and the fact that it's 80 degrees in Scottsdale, Arizona, in the middle of a town that honestly doesn't even get nearly as much visitation as you would if you go to like Glendale or you go to Phoenix or Tucson. It's all the college kids just flood there, just get drunk. The girls are wild. People are fucking taking their tops off and going crazy, i.e. Harry Higgs. And it's just an absolute like ridiculous time no matter where you are on that golf course.
Yeah.
By the way, the PGA Tour has never had more noise complaints aside from the 16th hole for security and like marshals to tell people to be quiet than at the Waste Management Open. They had over 400 occurrences last year that players said they were distracted by people like shotgunning beers when they had the camera pointed towards them.
You also had Chiefs and Eagles fans there because it was during Super Bowl week last year.
Jeez, yeah, right. The fucking the fans from Delco. Was Danny there?
Yeah, Danny might have been over there at the Waste Management. I don't know. Who's to say?
We'll have to ask him next time on the show.
The Waste Management's definitely something like me personally I would love to attend, just for the vibes. It's an all-time vibes event. I think it is. It's definitely in like my top 10.
I mean, not only the fact that it falls on my birthday, but it falls on the Super Bowl just makes the event overall so overly hype.
Yeah.
And also, not for nothing too, like you can go play the golf course the week or two before the event and the stadium is up and everything. That's a bucket list item for me is to go there for a week, play the event the week prior or even the week after when the rates are cut, and go watch the actual event Saturday.
I love Arizona too. Arizona is one of my favorite places I've ever visited.
Haven't been, so I'd also be crossing another state off the list.
It's gorgeous there. Big fan.
But like where it compares, like not for nothing. If you haven't seen the videos, go watch them. But like when Sam Ryder's hole in one and people were just chucking beer everywhere, like you don't see that probably at any other sporting event in the world. Unless, of course, like you go to a regular season football game and it's like insert X and Y teams, like Eagles, Giants at the link, and drunk fans are just chucking beers and starting fights in the stands. But like that isn't really the vibe. That's just you being a drunk asshole. The vibe check is just amazing. And the best thing I can compare it to is I went to a Rangers playoff game against the Hurricanes, game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals with John. And I've never seen a stadium more loud ever. And it was it was the same year that Tony D'Angelo, also Philly man.
Hey, we don't claim that scumbag.
When he had a big fight, or he was cuffed on the team because he was being racist towards Kendra Miller. And every time I got the puck, the whole arena booed. Or when I went to Nashville for a game and they played the Bruins the year after they had met them in the Stanley Cup final, and they scored, and the whole crowd is like chanting at Tuukka Rask to go, Tuukka, 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 you suck. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. And then they just keep on going and going and going. And the best one was they had a chant at like soccer chants, but the whole stadium knows every single one of them. It's amazing stuff. Those are kind of like the vibes that I get when you want to go to that.
This year, I feel so honored that I was in the building for it. Phillies Marlins wild card, and Bryson Stott walks up to the plate, and everyone's singing Ty Verdez A-OK after the music turns off, and the stadium is shaking.
Yep.
First pitch, he hits a grand slam. See ya.
Watching that game,
I have never been in a louder sports environment until the following week when I was at Game 3 of the NLDS against the Braves, and Bryce Harper motherfucked Orlando Arcia. Not once, but twice, just with his eyeballs. And the entire stadium yelling, "Attaboy, attaboy." It was...
The loudest I've ever been at an event was game 1? Might have game 1 of the World Series Mets Royals. And David Wright hit a first inning home run that I would watch it back. It was so loud that you couldn't even hear Joe Buck on the announcement say it was out of the park.
All of my friends
it was so fucking loud
that were at the game say the loudest Citizens Bank Park has ever been was the Reese Hoskins bat spike game. Like, I know people that were at that game and at Bedlam at the bank, and Reese Hoskins bat spike was louder.
That's crazy. Like those things are amazing. Like, the Waste Management, I don't think gives you that, but it's like a nonstop party, and I think that's what kind of makes the allure of it. I think also, like, my brother's roommate, who, like, he watches golf, but, like, he was chirping me about it. He was like, "Oh, like, how could you put Pebble as a better par 3 than the stadium hole?" And I'm like, well, if you, like, look at it from a large scale perspective, like, the beauty of Pebble Beach, and he goes, "Yeah, but, like, my sister knows what the Waste Management Phoenix Open is, and she's like 12 and doesn't watch golf, and thinks it's the most boring thing ever."
His sister knows vibes.
Yeah, she literally passes the vibe check. It's the only thing in golf that I can literally turn on the stream and only watch 16th hole shots for the entire day and be totally content. That's when you know that you've created an environment within an event that is so uber special and is so different from every single thing you do in the entirety of the year. I don't think many sports can compare to that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's more a gimmick and not part of the actual game. It's part of the celebration. But like this year, what we saw with the Pop-Tart Bowl in college football, like, that turned into a spectacle for the mascot, and people tuned in to watch that game, but just to see the end result. But they were watching the game, and I'm sure if we went and looked at what the numbers were viewership-wise, it was probably one of the highest viewed bowl games of the year.
And it also helps that social media exists to propensate the actual scale of it. And all of a sudden, it's like now it goes from not only do you not have to be there, but you're almost experiencing it with everyone with being thousands of miles away. Mm-hmm. The streaker on 16 and 17 last year was absolutely hilarious. The second the event ended officially on Sunday, everyone said, "Oh, it's officially Waste Management Week." Sends out the video of this guy stripping and Harry Hicks taking the shirt off and swinging it around with Joel Damon, and the streaker, and a woman taking off her shirt and beer bonging a beer through her boobs. Like, this is golf, dude. And this is something that you have not ever seen until the post-COVID world, where the golf game became younger and the fandom became more people like us.
It's Project X meets the PGA Tour,
which I love, which makes it absolutely amazing. And honestly,
shout out to Kid Cudi.
And the players play into it too, and that's kind of leads us into the field this week, and eventually beer money, which we'll get into a hot sec. A couple of notes here in the field. Victor Hovland, AWD, has been frustrated with his play as of late, so he'll be out this week. Xander Schauffele battling a hand injury. He'll be out as well. Those are the only two big-time names that'll be out of the field this week. Again, not a signature event as it was last year, so not taken as heavily, but again, has a huge field involved this week, which is going to make it an absolute show. And with that being said, we jump into the best part of the day. The Beer Money Picks of the Week brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Who is our friend Kenny? Well, I'll tell you. He's smooth, he's clean, he's bright with taste to boot. Kenny's the routine choice for folks who want a balanced, flavorful, no-frills beer that is right for any occasion. That's a hot-ass glass. 120 calories, 8 grams of carbs. Some call it the best light beer they've ever had. We just say, can't beat the OG, baby. Head to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Tracker to find where you can get your hands on some ice-cold, refreshing Kenny's from your favorite liquor stores in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, as well as at the Wells Fargo Center and beyond. You must be 21 years to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly and, of course, gamble responsibly.
You can get those pint glasses
well
on their website as well in the store.
The constant beer golf, dude. Just absolute great stuff. Before we jump in here, I want to trash Ben. We're obviously keeping track of our picks for the year. He's one up on me so far with 6 correct predictions through 5 events. He had picked Justin Thomas for a top 20, who, in case you haven't been looking at the odds board, is literally the second top name on the odds board. So I'm going to read you quickly Ben's picks. So they're in the archive, and we have those ready to go. JT top 20, Max Homa top 10, Cameron Young top 5. His gimme is Matt Kuchar to finish outside of the top 25. Honestly, he probably won't even make the cut. And Scotty Scheffler to win the event. And with that being said, we jump into a top 20. And KB, do you want to lead it off, or should I lead it off?
I'll let you lead so I can kind of see where your brain is with everything, because I'm looking at a site that only has the winning odds. So
perfect. All right. So if Ben's going to take Justin Thomas as the number 2 odds leader, I'm going to take the guy who's won the event the last 2 years. Scotty Scheffler for a top 20 pick this week. You can get it at -500 on any sports book that has it available. Just a little bit higher than the JT -450 for a top 20. So Ben, I know you aren't going to watch the show back. Scratch your ass.
I'm pulling up the top 20s here on another book just to compare where the winner is. Yeah, I'm going to go with this, actually. Top 20, we were talking about our guy earlier. He's getting the whole Hall of Famer in terms of beer money picks. Ricky Boy, stand up, plus 225 for a top 20.
2-time winner at this event, by the way. Definitely a guy who I'd be eyeing. In all seriousness,
you can get him plus 6,600 to win. No free ads, but at Bet Rivers.
Well, my friend Mr. Bennett, I mentioned this earlier, and of course, we actually got a comment on our beer money picks, courtesy of course, Mark Hubbard. I had bet Mark Hubbard at 2,200 to 1 to win the event. He finished T4. I put it out on social. He commented back. He said, hashtag we got screwed. So Mark Hubbard, come on the pod. Talk to me about how you feel. We are on the Hubs train for the foreseeable future. However, I'm sorry. I'm not picking you this week, but I still love you. In all seriousness, though, for top 20, I'm also going to actually take, like, for the serious play. If you actually want a good pick for top 20, Minwoo Lee is really solid. I like him a lot for top 20, but I'm going to take Scheffler just to kick it in Ben's ass. Top 10, you go ahead.
Top 10, I am scrolling here. I'm going to rock out with...
You cock out?
Yeah, that too.
Big Dick Rick. Big Dick Rick.
Give me social media's darling, Max Homa.
Plus
175.
Following Ben's train. Someone who's really good at spraying the golf ball, but also kind of works to his strengths because the field's really open and easy to play. I'm going to take getting the whole Hall of Famer, Sahith Theegala. Top 10 this week. Welcome back to the team, Sahith. Top 10 for Ben, by the way, again, was Max Homa. Top 5.
Top 5.
Top five. As the one and only Aubrey Graham would say.
I am going to go with Sam Burns, plus 450.
I think someone's reading my mind. So the golf course this week, firm and fast, really quick greens. Approach play is important. Driver off the tee is not nearly as important, but it certainly helps. I'm joining you. Sam Burns, top 5 this week. If this comes down to a putting contest, there's no one better at putting on fast greens in this field that isn't named Jordan Spieth than Sam Burns. And Spieth hasn't showed me enough yet with the approach play. Your gimme pick this week.
I was going to say, too, if you like Sam Burns at a top 5 and you think he can win, you can get him at plus 2,000 across the board at a lot of books.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me of what I was saying earlier anyways with Mark Hubbard. This year has been the year of the long shot. Chris Kirk won at 2001. Murray won at 4001. Who won in the third week of the year? Oh, Nick Dunlap won at 4001. And then, of course, Wyndham Clark won at 10,001. So, like, you can get these long shot plays are actually really valuable. So don't just look for the guys who are top of the board. At the end of the day, some of the best players are the ones deeper down.
My gimme pick of the week is it's not truly a gimme, but I like it enough that I think he's going to get it. It's almost even money, plus 105 for a top 30 finish. Corey Connors.
We love Corey Connors. You love Corey Connors.
I love Corey Connors.
He's the epitome of I can do everything good except for one thing.
He is the like. Whenever I hear his voice, I want to hear the giant planet from Rick and Morty saying, "Show me what you've got." I want to hear him say Corey Connors, and then it just goes into got to get swifty.
But the irony is that he's Canadian, so it has to have a little bit of
show me what you've got, eh?
Gotta have a little zinger about it, if you know what I mean. My gimme pick this week, also because I hate Ben, and he took Matt Kuchar to finish outside the top 25 in an event that he's like all the way down on the odds board and is like not even close to finishing in top 25, or he hasn't done it in the last 7 weeks. I'm going to take his top 20 pick, Justin Thomas, to finish top 20 this week. Lightning in a bottle is second on the odds board, but honestly, like if you want the free money, just take it. It's probably around like what's it?
Minus 150.
Yeah, that's just free money. I would just take that all day long. It's almost like a lock room to finish here. He plays really well on a golf course like this. And honestly, while I gave him a lot of shit going up to the Ryder Cup, he's really turned it around. The fall swing was really good to him. The beginning of the year has been really strong. I think he's a really great play for a gimme. And if this is a week that he can win the event, we'll most certainly be looking at Justin Thomas again once the PGA Championship rolls around as somebody who can very legitimately win 3 or 4 events this year. So look out for that. Your winner this week of The Waste.
The trash man of the week. Shout Danny DeVito. Oddly enough, I'm taking Justin Thomas. Plus 1,000. Give me JT. I'm feeling it in my loins. It feels like a JT dub.
In my loins. Your loincloth is soaked. That's disgusting. NSFW, guys. All right, so year of the long shot. I'm going to continue on my pace because Mark Hubbard should have won last week. I am on the tirade of a madman. I have 2 picks to win this week, one of which will be the actual pick. Another one is going to be my sub pick, but the sub pick I think actually like has a really good chance. Top 25 strokes gained off the tee, top 25 strokes gained putting, top 25 strokes gained approach. Really strong game all around. He had one bad event at the Farmers, which I've discounted already because the conditions were really challenging. To win this week at 40-1 odds, I'm taking last year's PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, Eric Cole. Has finished top 20 in every event minus the Farmers this year at the Century, at the Amex, and at Pebble. And I very much see him showing out this week at the Waste Management, being the trash man of the week. Another guy who I'm interested in, and I'm going to spell his name for you because I'm so impressed that I can spell it, and it should honestly be in the script spelling bee. Christian with 2 A's, Bezadenhout, Bezuidenhout, Christian Bezadenhout. He's been on fire too this year, had one bad event, but has otherwise finished top 10 in 3 events. And his play in the European Tour earlier on in the year during the fall swing was tremendous. So I like the both of them this week, but Eric Cole's going to be my official play for the week.
You can get Christian Bezadenhout right now at one sportsbook You want to talk about a long shot? Plus 11,000.
There you go. Year of the long shot, guys.
I also like Ricky as my dark horse long shot. You can get him, like I said, at plus
He's a good play there
66.
too. He hasn't set the world on fire this year, but he has 2 wins here. He knows how to get around the golf course, and honestly, veteran experience really does help.
And I'm a Ricky boy for life, baby.
But like I said, and this is what I call a callback. It's been the year of the long shot. Appreciate the guys who are long shots and can win the event outright, like a Potato Hoot, like an Eric Cole, Max Meyerson. Bet on those guys this week. Tell me how you do.
If you can do this, this feels fun, Steve, and I feel like we should both do this.
Oh boy,
we should parlay our top 20 with an anytime touchdown scorer in the big game.
First of all, if you didn't listen to the main pod this past week, you should absolutely go listen.
It's actually
to it.
coming out on Wednesday's episode.
Perfect. All right, so listen to the main pod when I talk all things betting. It sucks that there's no one in this field named Taylor or Swift. Because then parlay that with Travis Kelce touchdown, home run. Honestly, you know what? If you can tell me right now what the number would be if you parlay Justin Thomas with a Kelce anytime touchdown, and if you also added in even like Minwoo Lee and Scotty Scheffler, why not?
Are you saying JT at plus or top 20? I mean,
yeah.
Okay, let me see if it lets me on this one.
Like, I would say if you want just like a fun, like take a bunch of minus bets and make them a big parlay, I would take Scheffler and JT top 20s.
I mean, JT top 20 and Travis Kelce anytime is plus 218.
And then you add in a Scheffler top 20, which is probably going to be like plus 350.
Let's see if it
maybe
lets me
4
combo those. You said Scheffler top 20?
Yeah.
Makes it plus 324.
And you know what? Just for the hell of it, I know that he leaves a sour spot in everybody in Philadelphia's mouth. But James Harden 8 assists is just the most automatic number of all time.
Is that happening on Sunday?
I don't know, but I bet it every single day for the last like 3 weeks, and it's hit.
I think that's right before the All-Star game.
Well, makes sense.
Actually, I kind of like this because we both agreed that we both think Vineland native Isaiah Pacheco is going to score. Pop and Travis Kelce to score touchdowns in the big game, along with Scotty and JT top 20s, is plus 628.
At that point, just also lock in the O's Perlman lock of the season. 31-21 sweeps over the Niners at like plus like 47,000.
And if you want to get wild with the most automatic anytime touchdown scorer in that mix to make it a 5-leg with Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown, it makes it plus 911.
Out of context, bro. This is a live episode.
Never forget
saying that shit. By the way, I just want to let everybody know this. And again, if you have not watched the pod, watch the main pod on Wednesday. I just want to openly show this as I sign into my sports book. That is a play. And I am doing this. And this will hit.
There's your golf clubs. There's your PXG clubs.
Honestly, yes. There is my PXG golf clubs. No, honestly, that's probably going to go right to the student debt. The debt ceiling is climbing. All right, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Episode 140 here, getting the whole.
Shout out PXG.
Shout out PXG. Shout out Kenwood Beer. Shout out Tom Offshade. Shout out to all of our sponsors that make Underground Sports Philadelphia amazing. PHR Power Code, W, and the works. Follow us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, getting the whole pod, Underground Sports PHI. Ton of great stuff coming through the pipeline. Again, shout out to PXG for the awesome interview on the other side of this hour. KB, what you got?
You guys were on you're still firmly entrenched on the Sweden golf charts on Apple at number 186. And you were on the Great Britain golf charts as well to kick off this week at 244.
Bro, the Brits love us, man. Get me to St. Andrews. Get me to the British Isles. I would die for that. Follow us, of course, on YouTube, probably the biggest spot that we're at. Help us monetize
YouTube,
this program.
TikTok.
Keep growing. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that's literally right here below at Getting the Whole Pod. Of course, you can follow me, KB, and
Threads.
Ben at our own accounts, our personals, continuing up on the news. I also want to open this up and another call out to a brand here. Getting the Bowl is 2 episodes in, and Dude Wipes, come on. I'm perfect. Ben has explosive shits. I make good content on the toilet, and I'm going to start doing it at work now because I finally found out that the 6th floor toilet is empty. So Getting the Bowl is here to stay, honestly.
Dude,
and
you know what would be wild? Because I learned this and how it's so easy to win an Emmy. You literally just have to say you're live from wherever, and then you could submit your show for an Emmy.
Really?
Like, you have to obviously be live, but like you just have to say, "Welcome to Getting the Whole Pod, live from New York."
Is
And
that why they say live from New York on Saturday night? Those bastards. Those maniacal scheming bastards.
Dude, live from the 6th floor here in New York, it's Getting the Bowl. Imagine if Getting the Bowl won an Emmy.
Well, it's funny because I opened up the 2nd episode of Getting the Bowl with "Welcome to Getting the Bowl, the Pulitzer Prize winning show where I give you all the golf news from the comfort of my own turlet." I'm going to keep on doing that and just swap out different things. The daytime Emmy winning show, live from my toilet in Queens, New York. But again, Dude Wipes, come on, sponsor me. Like this is the easiest sponsorship of all time.
Dude Wipes is a white whale sponsor for this.
I literally have the product in my bathroom. I can pull it down and just flash it on the camera every single time that we do this show. So like, please sponsor us.
They're a white whale sponsor for this company.
They would be absolutely terrific. Folks, again, thank you so much for tuning in. For KB, I'm Steve-O. Enjoy the waste management this week. Ben will be back next time, and I hope to God I kick his ass. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!